All right, thanks, guys. The Nuggets take on the Pistons. That's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Detroit. Denver opened the betting as the 4.5-point favorite with a total at 209, and we haven't seen a whole lot of movement when it comes to the lines in that one. Denver remains minus 4.5 with the total at 209. 71% are leaning Denver, 75% shaded toward the over, and at the moment, Detroit's plus 150 for some money line cash. Now, if you like Detroit at home in this spot here, you might not be in a real bad spot yourself. Detroit ranks 9th in defensive scoring. They also rank 1st in defending the three ball. Meanwhile, the Nuggets on their side of things, they're covering just 40% of their games when traveling. Even worse, they're just 33% against the spread as the official road favorite. Now, when it comes to the total, Denver 70% to the over in their last 10. 2 out of Detroit's last 4 got over the total themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase the 0.5 point, buy it up, and lean toward the home dog in this one. Give me Detroit plus 5 in the over 209 in that matchup there. And before we go ahead and move on, I just want to take a quick timeout and once again just welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Monday's NBA, college basketball, and NHL action. But before we go ahead and proceed with more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out at patreon.com/BrockPage. And with a documented record of 6-0 in my last 6 plays on that website, we're red hot right now. You can check that out. You can check that progress out right now on patreon.com/BrockPage. That's a part of the free content. It's open and ready for you to take a look at. But once again, documented record of 6-0 in my last 6 plays on that website. You're certainly costing yourself some valuable information each and every day. You're not subscribed to that website. Now, memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. There's also plenty of free content there as well. So once again, please feel free to just hit that pause button right now. Open up your browser. All you got to do is type in patreon.com/BrockPage. It'll only take you a couple of seconds. The link is in the description section below. And if you are a current patron of mine and you are currently watching me right now, I simply cannot thank you enough. You most certainly make it all worth it. And with all that said and done, let's go ahead and hop right back into some more lines and personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Hawks, Wizards, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in the nation's capital. The Wizards are minus 6, totals 233. 64% are leaning Washington, 72% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Hawks are plus 205 for some money line cash. Now, if you like the Hawks on the road here, this is going to be a really, really tough spot for you. They're taking on a Wizards squad who is 60% against the spread in their last 10. They're also covering 62% of their games on their home court. Now, even furthermore, Washington ranks 6th in home scoring, 7th in home field goal percentage, and they're 2-1 against the number against this very Atlanta team this year. Now, when it comes to the scoring, Washington is 2-1 to the under, taking on the Hawks, 4-4 to the under in their last 8. Meanwhile, on the Atlanta side of things, they rank 19th in scoring and 26th in shooting the three ball. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean Washington minus 6 in the under 233 in that matchup there. Next game, Bucks, Nets, 7:30 tip-off in Brooklyn. Milwaukee's minus 7, totals 227.5. 78% are leaning Bucks, 55% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Nets are plus 250 on the money line. Now, Brooklyn is really banged up. We have Dudley, Crabbe, Dinwiddie, and LeVert all out for Monday night's action. Brooklyn also ranks 23rd in home defensive scoring and 22nd in home defensive field goal percentage. Now, Milwaukee, they're an offensive machine. They rank 2nd in scoring, 1st in offensive rebounding, and 1st in defensive field goal percentage as well. Now, when it comes to scoring, Milwaukee's just 33% to the over in their last 9. Brooklyn just 3-4 to the over in their last 7. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean Milwaukee minus 7 and the under 227.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Pacers at the Pels, 8 o'clock tip-off in New Orleans. Indiana's minus 1, totals 218. 51% are leaning Indiana, 61% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Pels are plus 103 on the money line. Now, the Pelicans have Davis and Mirotic out for Monday night's action. Moore, Payton, and Randall are also questionable for Monday night's game as well. New Orleans, regardless, They've dropped 5 out of their last 6. They also rank 26th in points allowed in the association. Now, scoring-wise, New Orleans is 60% to the over in their last 5. I'm going to lean Pacers -1 in the over 218 in that matchup there. Next game, Rockets, Suns, 9 o'clock tip-off in the desert. Houston's 8.5, totals 229 and a hook. 71% are leaning Houston, 59% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Suns are plus 310 on the money line. Now, Houston, Clint Capella is still out, and Gordon is questionable. Houston's also just 2-7 against the spread in their last 9. They rank 27th in offensive rebounding. And when it comes to scoring, Phoenix is 60% to the under at home. Give me the Phoenix Suns +9 after buying the half a point, and the under 229.5 in that matchup there. All right, next and final game for the NBA. It's going to be San Antonio at Sacramento, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off at Sacramento. San Antonio open 2, down to -1.5, totals 227 and a hook. 70% are leaning San Antonio, 51% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Kings are +105 for some money line cash. Now, if you like the Kings, they are 3-1 against the spread in their last 4, 19-7 against the number on their home court. Sacramento ranks second in home three-point shooting, and they're covering 69% of their games following a day off. Now, San Antonio, they failed to cover in their last 3 straight. And when it comes to the scoring, Sacramento's 90% to the under in their last 10. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this one. Give me Sacramento +2 after purchasing the hook, and the under 227.5 in that matchup there. All right, let's slide into some college basketball, and let's go ahead and begin with Louisville at Virginia Tech. That's going to be a 7 o'clock tip-off at Virginia Tech. The Hokies open the betting as the 5.5-point favorite, and the total at 140. And since those markets opened that one up, we're seeing a steady and consistent fade of the Hokies in the early going here. We're also seeing significant movement downward on the total as well. That total moved down to 137 with Virginia Tech laying 4. So once again, Hokies open 5.5 down to -4. Total open 140 down to 137. Now Virginia Tech is a perfect 3-0 against the spread in their last trio of ball games. They're also 8-2 straight up in their last 10. Virginia Tech ranks first in three-point shooting in the nation. They also rank third in home defensive scoring and 5th in home defensive rebounding in the nation in college basketball. Unbelievable rankings there for Virginia Tech. Now the Hokies are 67% to the over in their last 9. Meanwhile, this Louisville offense, they're actually scoring 78 points per contest away from home. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean Virginia Tech -4 and the over 137 in that matchup there. Next game, Penn State at Northwestern, 8 o'clock tip-off at Northwestern. The Wildcats open 4.5 with the total at 129 and a hook. Since those markets opened this one up, we're actually seeing a slight fade of Northwestern in the early going here. We're also seeing movement upward on the total as well. That total moved up to 132.5 with the spread at Northwestern -4. So once again, the Wildcats open 4.5 down to -4. Total open 129.5 up to 132 and a hook. And Northwestern ranks 30th in home points allowed, first in defending the 3-ball at home in the country. Penn State, meanwhile, lost their last 8 straight. They rank 250th in field goal percentage. Now, when it comes to scoring, Penn State's 208th in defensive field goal percentage, 224th in defending the 3-ball. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean Northwestern -4 and the over 132.5 in that matchup there. Next game, West Virginia at the Raiders, 9 o'clock tip-off at Texas Tech. The Raiders open 12.5, total opened 135 and a hook. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing a little bit of a fade of Texas Tech, in the early going here. We're also seeing movement upward on the total as well. So right now, Texas Tech is -12, total 137. Once again, the Raiders open 12.5 down to -12, total open 135.5 up to 137. 60% are leaning West Virginia, 56% shaded toward the under. Now, Texas Tech is 17-5 straight up overall for the year. They're also a remarkable 13-1 straight up on their home court. They rank second in points allowed at home, and they also rank first in home defensive field goal percentage. Now, scoring-wise, Texas Tech is 10-4 to the under on their home court. Give me the Raiders -12 and the under 137 in that matchup there. Next and final game for our college slate, it is going to be Iowa State at